Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another episode of On the Air with Tim and Ken. Ken, we turned this around pretty quickly because there's so much going on, but good to see you again.
Tim, good to be back. Yeah, a lot going on. We got a lot to go through tonight.
Yeah, we're going to do our best to get through a lot. Again, I got to do disclaimers. Disclaimers. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the gambling and all that just popped on that. Again, it's all allegations. We're not making any accusations. We're just reporting what we see out there. And then we're going to get into a lot of numbers, a lot of dollars, and hopefully we get the right numbers. But if we're off by $1 billion or two or $1 million or two, don't hold us liable for that. It's chump change today. You'll see that. And I do want to thank. I always say we have some of the best subscribers, and I want to thank our viewers and subscribers. I know you want to talk to them also, Ken.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody giving us a few minutes of their time. Thanksgiving's coming up. We do plan to try to do another episode before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But if you're looking to start a new family tradition on Thanksgiving Day, maybe an On the Air with Tim and Ken podcast marathon might be right. So we had Jen from North Carolina said she watched it on her big screen TV for the first time, and she enjoyed it a lot. So maybe a new family tradition out there, getting your family and friends together for an On the Air with Tim and Ken podcast marathon.
That's a great idea. So what we're going to do tonight is we got a few 5 or 6 quick hits, is what we call them, quick updates, and then kind of our main stories. We're going to get into some updates on the Major League Soccer. They're moving their schedule around and what that really means for them and maybe for some other leagues. We're going to get into what we just talked about earlier, the gambling. That thing exploded again. We didn't anticipate that quickly, but it happened. It's all over the news. The Big Ten, which I refer to as the Big 18, big news there. And exciting news, Juju Watkins, the collegiate basketball star, she's involved in business. I think it's a great thing. We'll get into that. And before we get into some of those stories, I want to mention a couple of our viewers. We have Carol down near Cape Cod. Carol reached out to me. Ken, she likes all the information you provide. She likes the enthusiasm. So she's a loyal viewer. So we're happy to have her on board.
Yes, thanks for watching. And we try. We do a lot of work to get ready for these things. So we do try to. We're glad you find some of the information useful.
We try to have fun. And speaking of fun, I know a gentleman down in Virginia, Bob. He's all about the fun. Bob watches. He's a subscriber, and he actually messaged me the other day. He said, "Hey, I watch Tim and Ken when I have dinner." So he sent us a nice picture of him having dinner, I guess, in front of his big screen TV with us on. So that's great. Now, I hope he made dinner for his wife, Roberta. She more than deserves it. So thanks for watching, and thanks for including us in your dinner plans.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so let's get rocking and rolling here. All right, we got to get going with UNC and Bill Belichick. 90 days ago, Bill Belichick and the UNC Tar Heels, the football team, they were the biggest story in August. And Ken, what's happened since mid-August?
Well, they lost last week to Wake Forest. They're now 4-6. They need to win out against Duke and NC State to be bowl eligible. We're wait and see what happens. I mean, he's been linked, through the fans and the media to possibly the New York Giant football job that's open. He has come out and denied it. The New York Giants have said nothing. He's 14 wins shy of tying Don Shula for the all-time winningest coach in the NFL. Whether, he'll be done after 1 year in college or whether he'll come back, I think is, an interesting off-season story.
Yeah, we'll see. So stay tuned. Now, on the last episode, I talked about the World Series Red Sox ticket that I held up and all that from 1975. I just want to close the loop on that. As I mentioned, that ticket price was $12.50. It was reserved for instance, but really good seat near first base. In today's dollars, that would have been $75. So imagine getting a nice Red Sox or any World Series ticket for face value of $75. It ain't going to happen. That's probably the cost of parking if you're lucky. So I just wanted to close the loop on that. One of your favorites, LeBron James and the LA Lakers. Tell me what's going on out west.
Yeah, so LeBron's due back any day now. I think he's been practicing. They went 10-4 without him. Congrats to them.
Yeah.
They got off to a good start. So, he's going to come back. You're missing 14 games. That's fine. They went 10-4.
Yep.
So I think it's a good start for the Lakers. And you don't need them unhappy in the beginning of the season. It's a long season, so they're off to a good start. LeBron will be fresh coming back. Let's see how the next couple months go.
that's the key. They're off to a good start. Hopefully he'll be fresh, healed. He misses 10 or 15 games early on. It's a very long season, and so he could use the break anyway. So I hope he comes back healthy, has a great year, and then let's go back to the East Coast, the Brooklyn Nets. Tell me about the other side of the coin.
The tanky Brooklyn Nets, who are playing for a draft pick, they're playing too well. They're 2-11. They won last night. There's two teams that are 1-12. One other team at 2-11. One team at 3-11. I mean, what an embarrassment for the NBA. They came out with a report this week that the league is going to generate $14.3 billion of revenue. And you've got these teams that are combined 9 for 48, each going to get about $475 million of revenue each. And it's I think it's an embarrassment for the league. I think, the commissioner, we've thrown a lot of stuff out there, me and you, on the air and then offline. He's got to really do something here. And I think the only way he can do it is penalize them with these draft picks that they're playing for next year, or move them to the end of the first round. And, because they're just taking the money, putting out a lousy product, and it appears they're not even trying. So
and the fans got to be more vocal on this if they haven't been already. And maybe you and I should form a 2-man team. And if we ever got one team to forfeit, we'd be right in the running there with one victory to be one of the better teams now. It's crazy.
Where are the business partners that are forking out all this money? That
How do you put
who
that
wants
on
to watch a
national
game
TV?
with any of these teams?
Yeah,
who wants to watch the games with these teams playing?
Yeah, how do you put that on national TV? How do you charge top dollar? How do you have any pride? How do you sell this? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think it's terrible.
Yeah, it's
staying in the NBA. The Dallas Mavericks fired their general manager Nico Harrison. Why that's significant to us is our very first podcast was the Luka Doncic trade from Dallas to the LA Lakers. And Nico was the one that traded him.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought at the time he got traded for Anthony Davis, who's now hurt. Dallas is 4-10. I guess they've pinned this all on the GM, so he just got fired.
You don't usually see a GM fired this early in a season. I mean,
I think it has to do with that Anthony Davis is hurt and not playing, and the Lakers are what, 10-4 we said?
Yeah,
I can't even remember what we said a few minutes ago. But that's
something, I guess. Yeah. Tough sport. All right. Moving along here. Major League Soccer. We don't talk much about Major League Soccer, but there's a reason to.
We got two more quick hits before we move to Major League Soccer.
Yeah.
James Franklin, the Penn State coach, is just signed with Virginia Tech. So that's going to lower his buyout from Penn State. He was the Penn State coach that got fired. That's going to lower his buyout to $9 million from Penn State. So, and a big update in LIV Golf. We haven't talked about LIV Golf in a while. If you've followed us over our first year, we do love a good golf story. Beginning with the 2026 season, LIV Golf is going to go from 54 holes to 72-hole tournaments. They're trying to get recognized by the official World Golf Rankings so that it helps their players get invites into the majors, because a lot of those are based on the World Golf Rankings. They are not expected to change any other aspect of their tournaments. But, Tim, are they going to increase their purses now for the extra 18 holes they're making these guys play? I know, a lot
of extra work now, and boy, they're asking a lot of these players now. Well, I don't know if have all the players signed off that. I mean, I don't know. We'll find out.
I don't know.
An extra round of golf. I mean, and there's no cut line, right?
There's no cut line. So
it's just a matter of trying to get into the majors.
You got to play an extra 18 holes a week.
Another day of work.
Wow.
I
don't know I don't know if they can afford it.
Well, let's see what happens. Let's see if they do it, or if they say no. We just want to get back, and maybe they're using it as leverage to say we can play in the majors. We don't miss you, and then maybe come back. We'll see what goes on.
Yeah, this is definitely, trying to get leverage over the PGA Tour. They've been trying to work out a deal to combine the two tours in some fashion. It doesn't look like they've been successful yet. But one of the holdouts was that, LIV was playing 54 holes, which, didn't make them qualify for the official world rankings. So It'd be great to get everybody back on the same courses.
Yeah, if they get back, everybody wins. I mean, the fans, the players, the sport, the international scene, everybody. I think everybody wins if they can all get
I
back.
think everybody wins.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. So let's just hope they can keep working towards that, and maybe this is just a maneuver to get some leverage. Let's hope. All right, now I jumped ahead. Let's get into the Major League Soccer, and I guess is it 2027? They're going to change their season around a little bit.
Yeah. So summer 2026 to 2027. So
yeah.
I have to preface this. I don't know anything about Major League Soccer. I don't follow.
Yeah.
We're going to tie into this story why we care at the end. Major League Soccer, the U.S. Soccer League, is changing its season to align with the top soccer leagues in Europe. So the regular season will now run from mid-July through April, where currently it runs February through October. So the first season that this is going to happen is going to be July 2026 to April 2027, and playoffs will start in May.
And then in the winter, what are they going to do in the winter? They're going to make an adjustment?
They talk about having some kind of winter break in December and January because they have teams in Montreal, Minnesota, Toronto, and Vancouver.
It's cold there.
Little chilly.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can play soccer in the snow, but apparently those teams are not happy with this decision because they're going to have to do some what they call major costs to invest in their stadiums, and I'm guessing it means putting roofs on these stadiums.
Sure.
So that they can play in the colder part of the year. I don't. You're right. You're in. They play at Foxborough, right, where you are.
They do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
They got a nice fan base there, and a lot of enthusiasm locally. They're looking to build a smaller stadium here in the Boston area, more geared towards specifically that team. Maybe a 30,000 stadium that would hold 30,000 people. They haven't found a location for it yet, but there's been a lot of talk about that over the last couple of years. So there is a good fan base there for it.
So talking about a break in December and January, and I don't know if that means a complete break, like they're going to shut it down for 2 months.
Yeah,
I don't know enough about it, but this is the story that's been broken in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Now, why do we care? Because it brings us to one of our favorite topics, the WNBA. And the WNBA season just ended. As we first discussed back on episode 8 back in May, we think the WNBA needs to be during basketball season. It is currently run from May through October.
Yeah.
They're going through CBA talks now. Here is their chance to address this again. And, put the women's basketball league and basketball season where it deserves to be. Give these players the best opportunity to succeed. The ratings will be there. I mean, the NBA doesn't shy away from the men's college basketball. I don't know why the WNBA should shy away from the women's college basketball. So hopefully during these contract negotiations, they will, hopefully think out, and it may take a year or two to implement. But we would really love to see the WNBA go into basketball season.
Yeah. Just go back and, like you said, watch episode 8, and the owners can get together and watch that, and everyone can do well, and the players can do well, the league can do well, the fans will do well, and that's what it's all about. That's the best opportunity, I think. And if soccer can see it, other sports can see it. I'm sure there's going to be talk about it, but let's see what happens. That's why we brought it up. All right. The other thing that we hear so much about, we didn't expect it because we talked about this ad nauseum, is gambling. All of a sudden, it's all over the news. Every other day, there's a new story, a new allegation. It's kind of a sad story in a way. We don't want to see this stuff. We don't want to see the integrity of the sports go away. We love the sports. We don't want to see it get diminished or anything like that. But Ken, you had some thoughts on this.
I think we're surprised. Like we first talked about it, I think in length on our episode 19, which was only about a month ago, and I think thought it would be a little longer before there would be the first, investigation or the first.
Yeah.
But there's been a half a dozen things in the last month that have come out regarding, going back to October 23rd and the Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups with the NBA, where, Terry Rozier is accused of maybe manipulating in-game bets. There's been two separate college investigations with players. One of them involves, accusations of organized crime in New Jersey with college players. You have the Cleveland Guardians, two players accused of manipulating pitches for, that we don't know. I don't know how any of this in-game betting works, where you can bet on pitches but it's out there a lot. And now you have the Lakers, among other teams, being asked to surrender their cell phones, certain members, and team employees, were they leaking or were they selling sports injury information, to who was going to play, what this, and the sport leagues are doing a pretty good job of trying to wait it out and hope it goes through the news cycle before, but you've had a half a dozen stories in less than a month.
Yeah.
And
again, the
I don't know what's going to
allegations.
happen. All allegations, right? But it's dangerous for sports.
It is. Yeah,
It's
these aren't just folks betting on the sports or betting against a team or for a team. They're actually potentially involved in fixing a play or a game or an outcome. Those are the major allegations, and that's what's really troubling. It's not a Pete Rose situation from years ago where he was managing and he bet supposedly on other teams and he got banned for life for that. But now we have players who are accused of actually impacting a play or a game or an outcome or something like that, and that just ruins it.
And the sport leagues are and the networks are all in business with these.
Yep.
Betting, or now there's these betting companies. It's just dangerous. It's going to happen. You're going to have a Super Bowl or a big baseball or NBA game, impacted at some point. It may be 5 years from now, it may be 10 years from now, but it's going to happen because people just can't help themselves. They think that, oh, I'm not going to get caught.
Yep. It's
Who's
too
gonna
easy.
catch me, right?
Get caught. Yep. Right. And
at the NCAA, well, they have a big decision to make next week. So the NCAA in October or earlier was going to allow, beginning November 1st, college athletes to bet on professional sports. Then some of these allegations came out, so they've delayed it to November 22nd. Let's see what they do. You're giving them NIL money, so you're giving them the gambling money,
right?
And then you're saying, "Here, go gamble." I mean, like, what do you think is going to happen if that goes through? I know a lot of university people are extremely upset because they don't want to have to deal with this. They don't want their school dragged into this. So we'll see if they further delay it. But that's supposed to go into effect November 22nd.
Yeah, and like you said at the top, a lot of the leagues, they've been kind of silent on this because again, their allegations, it's all been coming over the last few weeks, so they haven't really come out. I'm sure there's many talks about it internally. Obviously, we'll see where it goes. Hopefully, they find a way to, rope it in, control it, get clear policies on it, so the sports are, maintain their integrity.
I mean, you can't turn on a sporting event now with lines being everywhere, or they're in the ticker. Like, you're watching a football game, and they're in the sport ticker. Over under spread. Yeah, I mean,
wait till that kicker misses that kick.
Yeah, you're waiting for the announcer to say, like, if he makes this kick, they're going to hit the over, right? Like, right? Like, I mean, that's coming. That's coming, where the announcers are then going to start commenting,
Yeah.
The spread's 2.5. If he makes this field goal, they're up they're up a half a point in the spread. Like, I mean, it's gotta happen, right? Like, it's going in that direction.
Yeah. Just don't ruin the sport for me. I love this. I love the games. Don't ruin it for me. I mean, keep it all separate. So we'll see what happens. That's going to be a big story coming out for a long time, folks. So stay tuned on that. We'd like to hear if any of you are watching, we'd like to hear what your thoughts are on that too. It's a big subject. We don't have the answers on how to control it. Do you ban people for life? What do you do? But if you have any thoughts, we'd like to hear from you on that. It's a big thing.
And if you're betting on this stuff, does it worry you? Like,
Yeah,
I'm not a gambler. I'm not a sports gambler. Okay, if you're a sports gambler, we're not judging on that. But if you're betting, if you're a sports gambler, do these things concern you? Are you now worried about, are you more concerned
Do you
when you're
just bet
placing a
against the
bet?
Nets every night? Do you just bet against the Brooklyn Nets every night? What do you do?
You can't, because there's two teams worse.
You can't now, right? They're all they seem to be racing towards the bottom. I don't know. So yeah, let us know what your thoughts are if you are a gambler and how you deal with it, how you incorporate that into your. But you're not trying to lose, so you're
Right.
taking that into consideration. You're going to know more about it than us. So we'd like to hear your thoughts on it as a gambler. Yeah, good point. All right, we got to move into the Big 10. Really, it should be the Big 18 now. Whole new world here. Private equity investing in the Big 10 conference. Help me out, Ken.
So there's a proposal out there for a private equity group to invest $2.4 billion into the Big 10 media rights and sponsorship. So there's 18 schools.
Yeah.
So that means each school is going to get about $133 million, or in some cases, the equivalent of your next head coach's salary in football. I mean,
yeah. And that's just the buyout when you fire him in 2 years.
it's the buyout, right? Michigan and USC are apparently opposed to this deal. It's not a loan, it's an investment where the private equity group gets 10% of the media rights and revenue, and the other schools would split 90%. I don't get it. I think when you look at the size of these schools, they all have endowment funds in the billions.
Yeah. Yeah.
133 million to me is what these universities do is chump change. Why would you give up any money?
Especially in a long-term 20-year, and I think there's a potential for a 10-year extension. That's a long. Those deals are going to get rewritten in 5-10 years. That money's going to go higher. So why would you give that up?
And apparently, it locked everybody together till 2046. I just don't get it. I don't get what the universities get out of it. It's yes, it's $133 million, but you couldn't even do a stadium renovation for that these days. Like you're just giving money you're gonna throw away. Like you're gonna
yeah.
What are you gonna get? 2 linebackers and a couple basketball players.
Why give that up? Why you don't need the money? Why give it up? And again, I think the money will be bigger down the road. Hard to believe.
I think the media deal money. I think the one place that I am not worried about media money is college, because there's such a passion. Every year with your new freshman class, you're creating new fans.
Yeah.
They're selling out these stadiums with over 100,000 people on them. That's the one area I can see why private equity would want it.
Sure.
Would want to be a part of it.
Yep.
It's the one, we've talked, a lot online and offline about, are some of these other media deals going to struggle? I don't think in college athletics that it's going to struggle. I think there's just such a passion there. If you watch a football game on Saturday compared to one on Sunday, there's a different level of excitement on Saturday. The fans are going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be a terrible deal, but for the Big Ten. And I think Michigan and USC have apparently threatened to pull out of the Big Ten if this deal goes through.
But it's a creative idea, buying into a conference like that. You're not buying a team. You're really buying media rights and the money that flows from that. So it's an interesting concept for the investment group. I mean, people are thinking of new ways to look at this stuff and slice and dice it. So it's creative. There'll be a lot more of that coming on, whether it's the Big Ten or somebody else, but someone will grab it.
But they're also public universities, right? Like, as you've said, You mentioned when we've talked about some of the coaching stuff, these are public universities, right? Like, should they be getting in deals with private equity groups? I mean, that, yeah, you can have related party issues too, right? Like, is the guy running the private equity group from Penn State, right? Like, or Ohio State, right?
Of
Like,
course, right. Yeah.
so
Remember when college and universities were just college and universities?
yeah,
Wasn't that
yeah,
long ago?
not too long
In
ago.
any event, things are different. All right, we don't have a lot of time, but I think we have enough time to get into it with Juju Watkins. I think this is a great, interesting story. It's gonna be not that uncommon going forward. So explain to the viewers, Ken, what's going on with Juju.
So Juju is probably the best player in women's college basketball. She's out this year with a knee injury. She's a student at USC. Um, she's going to be the next Caitlin Clark coming into the WNBA, coming out of
Yeah,
college. She's that good.
yeah,
So she has, obviously, as most of the big players do in college athletics, NIL money.
yeah.
And she apparently has invested in the new Boston Women's Soccer League,
Yep.
an expansion team for 2026, and has also put an investment in the new Women's Basketball League Unrivaled. So I think it's great. I mean, it sounds like she's getting great advice and getting, surrounded herself with, the right investment people that'll help her plan for her future.
Uh-huh.
It's, I'm a big women's college basketball fan. It's disappointing that she's sitting out this year. She's an amazing talent. But it's good that she's getting this great advice to plan for her future at such a young age.
Yeah, she's thinking ahead. She's smart, and I think she was one of the youngest ones to. I think when she was a junior in high school. I think I read she signed a contract with an agency back then, and I think she's what, a sophomore this year. She's very young.
Uh, she would have been a junior. Yeah, she's redshirting junior, I think, this year. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So,
She's out with the knee. So she'll have 2 more years left after
all
this.
right,
Yeah,
and now she's investing in. She's got basketball and women's soccer.
women's soccer.
Yeah, so good for her. She's going to be a pioneer, and hopefully she's investing well, and she's going to bring a long notoriety. She got a long career herself. I mean,
Yep,
I think it's kind of a great story. It's it's where it's
I agree.
going. All
Yeah, I
these
agree.
athletes getting this money. God bless them. They earn it. They make enough money for the universities, for the TV people. God, they're getting paid. I have no problem with that. And I did read she's a pretty good student. Also, she gets good grades. So good for her.
Yeah, congrats to her. And again, I'm with you. I think it's a great story.
Yeah. So follow that. She won't be the only young lady in collegiate sports to be investing, and I think there'll be a lot more of them. I think it's exciting. It'll grow all the sports. It'll help them all, I think, and hopefully she gets very good advice because she's a busy person. She doesn't have time to keep tabs on all of it. Maybe she does. If she does, that's phenomenal. And I hope she has a long career playing. First of all, we want to see her play too. I don't want to just see her. She's too young. She's too talented.
What a great player.
Yeah, we want to see
Great
it. We
player.
want to see years. We want to see her playing for a few decades, and then she can own these teams and get involved. We don't want to miss out on that. That's why we watch. So, Ken, I think that's pretty much all we have for tonight. I think we got through the whole list pretty well. What do you think?
I think we did pretty good tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. So you see, folks, there's a lot of money floating around out there. We don't know where it's going to end. We talked on gambling. We talked on gambling a couple of weeks ago, and now here we are talking about it. All the collegiate money, all the hedge fund money. We haven't got into really any sports in general, just sports and business, but it's been a lot going on.
And the money in sports streaming continues to grow.
Yeah.
I know we haven't talked about that in a couple of episodes, but we'll get back to that. The money there is enormous, and it's going to be interesting to see if all these companies make it through, because they're relying on us.
That's right.
To send them money so that they can pay for all these deals.
Yeah, somehow there's going to be some winners and losers. We'll see how things pan out over the next couple of years, but there will be some losers out there because there's just too much money floating in, and not all of them are going to be able to sustain that cash flow. I don't believe. We'll see. A lot of these folks think this is just the infancy of it, that's going to continue to explode for 3, 4, 5, 10 years. Maybe they're right. No one knows, but I think at some point it's going to go off the cliff a little bit. Sports will always be there because we all love our sports, and that's why we're doing this. So,
All right. We thank everybody for joining us. And Tim, great to see you again.
Good to see you, Ken. Thanks for putting that together tonight in short notice. Thanks, everyone.
And
Thanks for watching.
don't forget to follow us at Tim Ken Podcast on X.
Yeah.
Leave us comments if you have any questions. We'll try to address them.
Yep, we'd love to hear from you.
And hit subscribe, hit like, make your friends and family watch during Thanksgiving. We need all the help we can get. So
yeah. If you start getting cranky on Thanksgiving, watch an episode or two and hit the like button twice. Thanks again.
thanks, Lon. Thanks, everybody. Good night.